Kia ora. Could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Jacob Rajan. I'm one of the co-founders of Indian Ink Theatre Company. I'm an actor and a playwright.
So how did you get into the theatre scene and what was it like at the time?
I didn't even know we had a drama school, to be honest. It was only Robin Payne, the artistic director, who saw me in a show and sent a note backstage that I should audition. And then I was going, oh, cool. So I had really no idea about much. And but I guess I learned pretty quickly, because at drama school you were exposed to, you were going to see shows at Circa, at Downstage, anything that was going to the festival. And so I suddenly was from zero to a heap, and then my taste was forming, I guess. And I guess what I can say about theatre at the time, for me, there was sort of a divide between Auckland and Wellington kind of did talky, intellectual kind of plays, and Auckland seemed to do just more visually interesting, designery plays, but actually not much content to them. They looked really cool, but actually they kind of had no story. They seemed that's a gross generalization, but that was my feeling at the time. And I was kind of captivated by the European kind of theatre, where you'd have these amazing physical theatre pieces that had great stories, but went densely text-based.
So, Jacob, how did this period of time influence how Indian ink looks like today?
My infatuation with mask work had happened before drama school, and so the funny thing was, coming into Toy, I was just really gagging to do some mask work, and they didn't teach it. They didn't. I think they had one afternoon demonstration of mask with Christian Penny. That was it. And so I was desperate to use mask when I could, and that was my what do you call them now? Solos. Back in my day, we called them the monologues. But the solos were your self-devised 20-minute piece of theatre. And so I used mask in that, and that was the first play that I wrote. And I guess the DNA of that play has everything subsequently that Indian Ink loves, which is live music, acting at the level of mask, which is not naturalism. It's highly theatrical. Really good focus on story. So we do have, people often kind of paint us with this, oh, we're devised, Well, yeah, but we actually have a script. We worked like 2 years to get a script together. So everything might feel kind of improvised, but everything's written down. It changes, and there's opportunities to interact with the audience and stuff like that, because it's theatre. But we are a narrative, text-based kind of company. But I think we were kind of bridging the gap between literally my director's in Auckland, I'm in Wellington. So we wanted things that were visually interesting, but had a really good sense of story. So there was a satisfaction at the end, story-wise, that the audience actually felt kind of nourished at the end of the play.
So how do you approach writing mask and character together?
Well, Justin made when we worked with paper mache masks with first 3 plays, Christian's Dairy, The Candlestick Maker, and The Pickle King. He would make them all. Initially, I was making them because I made mine for the drama school, Christian's Dairy, the 20-minuter. But I'm a bit crap at it, to be honest. Justin's much better. He actually started at university doing an architecture degree. His dad was an architect, kind of famous architect, actually. And so Justin was going to be an architect. So he's got this kind of structural, spatial thing going on that I don't. And so he quickly got to be the mask guy. And then you almost auditioning them. You make them, pop them off, then work with them, and it's like, no, make the nose bigger. Yeah, okay, no, yeah, it's something there. Forehead next time, make the forehead more worried. Put some light. So you're back and forth like that.
So when you design the sets and look of your plays, how closely do you stick to the original script?
Justin is the architect, and he works closely with John Varight, who's been the designer for all but one of our plays. And so they work really closely. I know a little bit about the process in that we bring John in very, very early. So those conversations are starting right from the beginning in terms of the world. And where John's great is he's not one of these designers, because I believe there's designers where they just draw the thing and then they hand it over, and then you've got to find someone to build the bloody thing. Whereas John will be there on dress rehearsal, touching up the sets and making sure that thingies work and everything. He's a very hands-on kind of practical guy, and we love him for that, because at the same time that he understands that the set's got to look great, it's got to be in harmony with the actual words and the playing of the thing. And so it's got to be more than just beautiful. It's got to be really functional. And the added layer for Indian Ink is that we're a touring company. So generally everything has to fit into a trailer, or even better, it'll fit into our hand luggage.
So, Jacob, what do you think is Indian Ink's greatest achievement in its timeline?
I mean, there's been sort of stupidly amazing moments dotted throughout the time. But actually, to be 25 years and still going is the achievement is to be still going. That's the thing. I don't know whether you know this, but when Justin and I got together, the prevalent thing, and probably still the prevalent thing, is to look around and you see how many independent theatre companies are there and how long do they last. And we looked around and said, max 3 to 5 years, because it's so hard. You either blow out because of creative differences, or just the money is just terrible. And I've seen brilliant actors leave because that you just can't sustain it. And so to be still going at 25 years and still producing work that is, I think, still fresh, and that we're not churning out the same kind of stuff, that when you come to see an Indian Ink show, you'll know it's an Indian Ink show, but you won't quite know the form, the content, and everything will be fresh.